I want to welcome you to the National Society of Professional Engineers 44th Annual Federal Engineer of the Year Award Ceremony. My name is Monica Schultz. I am the Executive Director and CEO for NSPE. I'm delighted to be back in person after a number of years of doing this virtually. I have been with NSPE for about 2 years, so this is my first FEYA lunch, so I'm thrilled to be here with all of you, and thank you for being here. You may know this, but this ceremony is part of National Engineers Week, or E-Week. Founded by NSPE in 1951, E-Week is dedicated to ensuring a diverse and well-educated future engineering workforce by increasing understanding and interest in engineering and technology careers. The ceremony itself will begin after lunch, but at this time I would like to ask Britt Smith, PE, Fellow of NSPE, and current President, to come on stage to begin today's event.
Thank you, Monica. Much appreciated. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have to admit a little bit of trepidation as I entered the room today. You see, I checked my gig line a couple of times, but I still had that feeling of being a young second lieutenant 30 plus years ago and being in a room full of brass and having to answer the question about falling out for morning PT. So I do apologize for those that know that has not happened the way it should. But more importantly, I'd like to welcome each of you and to talk about what an honor it is to be here with you today. As many of you know, NSPE was created in 1934. Our founder and first president was David Steinman. NSPE was created and continues today to be a single national professional society with solidarity of purpose and a concentration of strength to provide for the professional interest of all engineering professions. Our founding principles were to protect the public from unqualified practitioners, to stand against unethical practice, and finally, to build public recognition for our profession. So how appropriate is it for us to be here today to recognize and honor the contribution of 23 exceptional engineers who, by their work and effort, embody the highest ideals of our profession. For 89 years, NSPE has worked to realize a vision where the public can be confident that the engineering decisions affecting their lives are made by qualified and ethically accountable professionals by advancing the role of professional engineers in service to society. Today, we honor 23 exceptional engineers employed by our federal government who embody this ideal. Too often, your contributions to the public go unrecognized because, as those of us in the profession know, when we do our job well, most people will never notice. Each of you are living examples of the values we hold as a profession and as the National Society of Professional Engineers. From your biographies, I see that each of you is being honored today shares these values. You use your scientific and your technical knowledge and skill to create and innovate ways to fulfill society's needs, and are dedicated to making this world a little better, a little healthier, and a little safer for all humankind. And at this time, I'd like to ask President-elect Bill Atkinson to come on stage to present the agency awards.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. The Federal Engineer of the Year Award program has honored hundreds of accomplished professional engineers. What all of you do every day is outstanding and worthy of recognition. As Britt previously mentioned, NSPE sponsors the Federal Engineer of the Year Award because we believe that you and your accomplishments deserve national recognition. All of our agency engineers of the year are highlighted in our program that you have at your seats, and all of you have done amazing things as professional engineers in government. It is important to note the awards given today should be received with a great deal of pride. To be recognized among your professional peers is one of the highest honors you can receive. especially when your peers are engineers who all strive for perfection. It's my pleasure to congratulate you on behalf of NSPE. We're proud of you and your accomplishments as engineers.
Now we will present the 10 engineers among the agency winners who were chosen by our judges as NSPE's top 10 Federal Engineers of the Year. On behalf of the National Society of Professional Engineers, it now is my great pleasure to announce the 2023 Federal Engineer of the Year. I would now please ask Stephen Cravens, PhD, PE, Tennessee Valley Authority, please join me on the stage. Though a third-generation Tennessee Valley Authority engineer, Stephen Craven's path to the authority was not as direct as that of his father and his grandfather. With a bachelor's degree from UTC, a master's from Georgia Tech, and then a doctorate from Virginia Tech, he worked as a computer and chip designer and security researcher, and then as a UTC professor before joining TPS in 2013 as the engineering technical responsibilities for substation and networking. In this role, Stephen helped secure substations against cyber attacks, designing ways to keep the critical equipment disconnected from external attackers, and yet still being remotely monitored for anomalies. He was also instrumental in the development of a new communications architecture that is faster, more reliable, and less expensive than their existing schemes. Stevens is a licensed professional engineer in the state of Tennessee and remains involved in academia as an adjunct professor and a member of UTC and the Chattanooga State Engineering Advisory Board. Stephen is married to his wife Angela for 13 years, and they have 2 children. And they are active members of the Hickston Presbyterian Church. For your outstanding service to the engineering and achievement and contribution to the engineering profession and to humankind, I am privileged to present you with the 2023 Federal Engineer of the Year Founders Medallion.
Thank you all. Thank you all. This is quite an honor. I'm truly humbled just to be in the room with all the agency winners, and deeply honored to have received this award. They asked a former professor to say some words without giving me a time limit, so we'll see how this goes. I won't pretend to be able to teach you all anything, so I thought perhaps I could share my journey to federal employment. As was mentioned, I'm a third-generation Tennessee Valley Authority employee. My father and my grandfather both spent their entire careers with the company. And in high school, I vowed never to work for TVA. I both saw the hours that my father was putting in, and I also, like many teenagers, desired to follow what was new and what was cool. And keeping the lights on in the Tennessee Valley, well, they've been on for decades. That wasn't new and cool. So I went and got a graduate degree, and my first job was designing computer chips in Atlanta for a company some of you may have heard of called Lucent Technologies. And it was almost the perfect dream job for someone who was wanting to follow what was new and cool. It had a startup feel. We had a ping pong table. We had a PlayStation 2. And it was amazing fun working with young folks. Unfortunately, when the tech bubble popped, we discovered just how important a new processor for a cell phone was. As you know, when the economy tanks, cell phones and new technology follows it. So we were all laid off. And I did what many folks do in a bad economy. I went to grad school. And long story short, years later, I found myself in Chattanooga in want of a job. And I'd known folks at TVA. They're certainly the biggest employer of engineers in the area. So I said, okay, let's give this a try. I know I swore them off years ago, but was in need of a job, getting ready to start a family. I wanted to stay in the area. And what I discovered is that the mission of your work matters. Every one of us in this room, every agency winner, could be pursuing bigger dollars with a commercial company, could be living an easier life at home with their families. But we have chosen to forego that and work towards the greater good of the country, the greater good of fellow citizens. At TVA, I have found that yes, keeping the lights on means old technology. We have technology from 1980s that is still used to control substations, somewhat surprisingly. But the sense of accomplishment when you keep the lights on in a winter storm, or when you find a way to improve the resiliency of the communication system, that is truly benefiting people. That is a job that always has to be done. And I have found that to be extremely rewarding. And I know that all of the other agency winners could say similar things about their employment. We choose to be federal engineers because of the benefits that it brings this country. And I'm truly honored to accept this award. And I want to thank the NSPE, I want to thank my loving wife, and I want to thank my managers at TVA who flew out here to witness this. And I want to thank each and every one of you for all the work that you've done. I'm truly honored. Thank you.